This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, senior leaders, and C-suite executives share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, Stacey. My name is Peter Su. I work for BNB Bank. I'm a vice president in a private bank, and I run our cannabis banking division.
Well, that has to be a really hot topic these days. I just heard the federal government finally approved it, right?
Yes, sort of.
There's always a sort of there. Well, we're excited to have you on the show. Tell me, what's the best thing about leading people through change? We've been experiencing a little bit of change these days. So what's the best thing about leading people through change?
A lot of change, a lot of change. Honestly, nothing is good about leading people through change. And what I mean by that is logically, you're also going through the change yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to sort of keep a smile on your face, right? When sometimes, let's be honest, you don't really know how those changes are going to impact you. Like if you're going through a merger, let's say, and your people are anxious, asking you, hey, what's going to go on? Largely to some extent, you don't know what's going to go on. Even at the most senior positions, they may not necessarily know what the next steps are. But leading your people through the change, is to stand in front of them and say, look, I got you. And sometimes you don't know if that's true.
One of those like epitomes of fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
Or a belief will guide me forward sort of idea.
Yeah.
Well, those are some great insights. And it actually leads me perfectly to my next question, which is what piece of advice then would you give to other leaders about implementing change?
I think honesty and communication. As I said, look, sometimes you don't know what's going on, right? So, even though we just said fake it till you make it, maybe don't fake it too much, right?
Transparency.
I think people are okay with you saying that. Like, hey, look, let me be honest with you. We're going through a merger. There's gonna be some cut downs. I don't know who's gonna be cut down yet. I might be one of those people. So I do think, those honest moments. Hey, let's talk through this. Like I'm with you, right? And look, I'm on the line with you. I was in the Army, and that was a common thing, right? Like you never know what's gonna happen next, and orders change all the time. But I think that honesty and that willingness to be there with your people. And look, reinforce that idea. Hey, I'm going through the change too. I'm with you. I think communication and the honesty is really the most important thing.
Love that. Well, it's funny. I'll often hear from other leaders that keeping teams engaged remotely can be a pretty big challenge, right? Managers are stressed, not being able to see their teams and check in. Sometimes that drive-by check-in, right? When you're walking by or meeting up at the water cooler or in the,
Yeah.
the coffee area. And it's driving them crazy. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about all of that?
Yeah, it definitely is a challenge. I think it depends on. So here, I think it does become very specific to a person, an employee, the relative experience. And look, I think in today's world, given this little thing that we got going on, maybe being sensitive to what else might be going on in that person's life. So, for example, if you've normally got a high performer who suddenly, you're not feeling as much connection with that person, maybe ask, hey, how are you doing, during all of this, right? Like, because maybe there's something going on in their life. But having said that, yeah, that consistency, right? Because you still need to perform. We have jobs to do, and you want to see performance. But I do think you want to kind of take that moment to maybe think about, again, especially today, given what's going on, is there something else that's causing a lapse? I think the biggest challenge in today's world, working remote, is not so much your veteran employees, but the new employees, right? God forbid a brand new one. Like I wouldn't. That would be really hard to try to instill, a team identity if you're never going to see that person face to face, right? So yeah, I think it can be tough, especially because there may be other things going on, right? Kids aren't in school, et cetera. And understanding that, sort of being an empathetic and sympathetic leader is important when it's something like this.
Well, and it's funny that you say that to, again, seek it out, right? Versus just
Yes.
assuming, because in the absence of information, we tend to make it up, right?
Right.
And it's very rarely favorable for the other person.
Of course.
So I like that, because again, it's for you, right, to understand so that you can then control your emotional responses to it, because now you have the new information versus making up your version of the truth, which is they're sitting there doing nothing, eating bonbons.
Which may also be the truth.
But now you know. So as you think about this whole idea of, again, checking in on others, and making sure that they're okay, what are you doing for yourself? What's your daily practice that's most important to you as a leader? How do you stay well, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually?
Yeah, I think routines for me is very important, right? I know in the beginning, honestly, there were days when I rolled out of bed, didn't change out of my pajamas, maybe brush my hair, and then I would just jump right into my day. And after a little while, I realized, you know what, I need to not do that. I need to, get up, put on a nice shirt, at least change my clothes, right? And so I do think that daily practice, having a routine, and then even, I know it sounds stupid, but even writing down things that you would normally do every day. So for example, as a leader, if your practice is, hey, I'm going to reach out to my team, um, 9 o'clock every day. Well, I literally put that on your calendar, because otherwise, today's world especially, you might forget to do that, right? Just other things take over. Um, so to me, routine is very important.
Love that. All right. Final question for you. Magic question number 6. What other successful business leaders like yourself, Peter, should be on the podcast?
Oh, I mean, so many. I don't know. I think we would run out of time. But I mean, I think, you know, it, I've had the fortune of really working for some great bosses in my time, and they've been great mentors. I'm not sure. I can send you a list, I guess.
Yeah, or just one or two that people should go pay attention to, right? As they start to look about and they start to seek out thought leadership. Who should they be paying attention to, I guess, are the questions.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I don't know. I don't have any name off the top of my head.
Gotcha. No worries there. No worries there. Well, as you start to think about, people reaching out and wanting to say hello, well, how can people find you if they want to introduce themselves or learn more about you or your organization?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So BNB Bank, Bridgehampton National Bank. Happy to give out my email address. It's psu@bnbbank.com. The number is 631-537-1000. Although I should mention we're going through a merger, and so
Honesty,
speak,
transparency.
speaking of change, so that email address may not work for after 3-4 months or so.
I'm sure we could find you on LinkedIn, and
Yes.
audience, no worries. We'll make sure to put all these details down into the description there, so you just can click on that and find Peter. But I really do appreciate you being on, and I love your insights and your thoughts. It sounds like you've been really giving this some thoughts over the last 9 to 12 months as been navigating kind of this crazy environment. So appreciate you sharing those nuggets of wisdom. And this is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.